Once I actually got to Cambodia, when I got off of the airplane and I made it through customs, I went outside and I was waiting for my driver to come pick me up, and there were hundreds of people outside of the airport. They must have been waiting for their family or loved ones to arrive, and it was the weekend of the water festival, so I'm assuming that's why there were so many people there. But on my ride to where I was staying that night, I was pleasantly surprised. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was nighttime, it was dark, but I was in the middle of a big city, so that was really shocking for me, and in a good way. My first full day in Cambodia, I went to Siem Reap, and while I was in Siem Reap, I visited some temples. I visited, let's see, 5 temples. I visited Tapram, which is the temple where Tomb Raider was filmed. I visited Bayon, which is a temple some of you may have seen. They have big carvings of these heads or faces, and usually they're profiled off to the side. And I visited Bang Melia, which is a temple that's in the jungle, which the temple itself is actually overrun by trees and greenery. It's just overtaken by the jungle. I went to Bente Sarai, which is a temple made out of pink sandstone, and the carvings there are so intricate and detailed. It is gorgeous. And another temple, the last temple that I visited, was Angkor Wat, which is the largest religious complex in the world, and let me tell you, it's huge and it's beautiful. It's awesome. Just being there was difficult because I was jet lagged. I went on my first day in Cambodia. I was tired. I hadn't gotten any sleep. It was hot and it was crowded. There were thousands of people there. So it was hard to take it all in while I was there. But looking back at my pictures, I'm just in awe. I can't believe I had the opportunity to visit this place. It's one of the wonders of the world. So I also will have some pictures of the temples at the end of this video for you guys to take a look at, because I mean, they're just amazing. Definitely, if you ever go to Cambodia, make sure you hit up all of the temples that I named. And there are also some more temples you might want to check out as well. While in Siem Reap, I also visited some villages. The main village that I went to was Kampong Klang, which is the village on stilts. That village is a bunch of houses. Westerners would consider the houses to be shacks, but the people that live in these homes are actually very wealthy. So they live on the lake. Their homes are built on stilts because during the rainy season the lake floods, and these homes are actually up to 90 meters high. They're very tall. The stilts are extremely tall, and when I went, the lake was still pretty much flooded, so they were sitting just above the water, and it was amazing to see. They have antennas on their homes so they can watch TV. I mean, it's awesome to see. And we also visited a small Vietnamese village, which they lived in houseboats, and these boats were tiny. I mean, families living in these tiny boats, and they would be out fishing on their boats, and the kids were swimming in the lake. And it was a beautiful thing to see, just to see another culture and how these people live. I also, when I was at this village, I got to hand out school supplies to some of the kids in the village, and that was awesome. I had a great time talking with the kids, and they were so excited to get these school supplies. Just books and pencils and things to write and color and draw. I mean, they were excited to learn, and I think that was beautiful. The tour group that I went with, which was Tara Boat, or Tara Tours, they do this. Anytime someone goes out to this village, they bring out school supplies to these kids. So I think that's a great thing that they're doing there. While driving to some of these temples that I went to, as well as to Kampong Klang, I also got to pass up some other villages, and my tour guides, they offered me to stop at these villages to check them out and see what they have to offer. And while I was there, we got to stop on the side of the road, and I got this amazing, delicious bamboo sticky rice, which is sticky rice. They make it there in the villages, and they mix black beans in it, and then they stuff it in a bamboo shoot, and it's so good. It's sweet. I wish I could find it somewhere around here, which I know isn't going to happen, but it's so good. And I also got to stop and get some palm sugar, some freshly made palm sugar. It's not granulated. It was actually in clumps. They look like little rocks, and I'll show you all a picture of that as well. And it tastes like candy. It's so good. And palm sugar is one of Cambodia's main exports. So, and it's also one of the things that they use a lot there as an ingredient in their cooking. So I got to get some fresh palm sugar, and I also got to stop at a small shop on the side of the road as well, where they make handmade items out of, I want to say, palm leaves and water hyacinth. And I got this hammock. So I got a hammock that I had made out of water hyacinth, and that was really great. It's actually my favorite thing I got while I was in Cambodia. The place that stood out the most to me that I got to visit while I was in Phnom Penh was Tuol Slong, which is the S-21 Genocide Museum. And this was a very touching place to visit. It was a very difficult place to visit as well. The food. Oh, the food in Cambodia. It was hard for me to eat when I came back home because I was craving Cambodian food. Their food is fresh, it's flavorful, it's delicious. My favorite dish I had when I was there was the beef lok lak. I mean, their food is just amazing. You can also try the fish amok, which was pretty good. I had that. Oh, sorry, I had the red curry chicken. That was good. Oh, delicious. I've had it at a few different restaurants, and each and every time it was amazing. And I also got some fresh coconut juice, where they take a whole coconut and they drill a hole in it, stick in a straw, and you get to drink the juice straight from the coconut. And that was delicious too. So Cambodia gets a double thumbs up from me for food. They have the best food I've ever tasted. Let's talk about Argy. When I was in Phnom Penh, I was welcomed at Arjuni by the owner, Janice Wilson. She allowed me to come visit her shop house, and she put up with me for actually a couple of days. She gave me the full-on tour of the facility. She put me to work so that I can see what it is that they go through each and every day. And let me just tell you, I appreciate the process that Arjuni does on their hair all that much more after actually being there and experiencing what they do day to day. Number one, let me start off. The hair at Arjuni is not processed. I don't know how it possibly could be processed. I took a tour of the entire facility. There is not one chemical and not one machine other than the sewing machines in that entire facility. There's no processing going on with their hair. I got to see the process of the hair from start to finish. From the ponytails that are cut off of the donors until the finished product that goes out the door. So I got to see this from start to finish. There's no processing involved. This hair never touches anything other than shampoo and conditioner. That's it. And whatever treatments, oil treatment or conditioning, deep conditioners they put on the hair. But there's no processing. There are no curlers or rods or anything. They have combs and brushes. That's it. So, and to answer the question, I did see some people in Cambodia, some of the natives with curly hair, and you'll get to see some photos at the end of this video as well. So while I was there, one of the things that Janice allowed me to do, and I thought it was going to be so much fun, and it actually wasn't all that much fun, but it made me appreciate the process all that much more. I got to blend some hair. And when I say blend some hair, I mean blending hair before it's wefted, because the hair has to be blended before it's put on a weft. So I got to go through that process, and it's so tedious and time consuming because they are very, very picky. And that's a good thing, because you need to be picky when you're dealing with someone's hair, which in the end turns into dealing with someone's money, right? So they actually have to match all these different donor ponytails to make a weft, and that means matching length, luster, pattern, color, and a few other things that I can't quite remember because it was just so much, but it's necessary. And then I got to pick nits off of the hair because the hair is cleaned knit by knit, strand by strand, by hand. And then I got to trim split ends because the ends on the hair are trimmed one by one by one. And then I got to sit down and watch the sanitization process, which is the washing and deep conditioning and air drying of the hair. And then I got to watch and help Cynthia and Tiana and the staff blend orders. This part was really, really cool. It was really fun to, you have all of this hair and you have to pull, and after it's blended and put on the wefts, you have to blend it to make someone's order. And that part was really difficult as well, because what the hair looks like wet, it might not look like dry. So that was fun, going back and forth, having to recreate these different blends. But the process from start to finish, it's long and it's tedious. And I completely understand why it takes the amount of time it does and why Arjuni uses the process that they do for ordering. Because if they didn't do things the way that they did, people wouldn't get the quality that they get. There's a reason behind all of these processes, and me being able to go and see this for myself and experience it, it just makes me appreciate the process all that much more, and the finished product, and Janice and all of her staff for putting out a company like this and going through all of this hard work to please other people. Not just to help themselves, but to help others, because they don't have to sacrifice their time and effort and energy to bring such a quality product. I mean, other vendors aren't doing that. So I think it's awesome what she's doing. I also think it's awesome what Janice is doing for her staff. She does so much for her staff. I got to see what she does for her staff. She's an awesome, awesome person to work for. I mean, the staff they were always smiling. They were always happy. And one thing that I admire more than anything else about this company, Janice is teaching her staff how to speak English, which in turn is going to create more opportunities for them in the future. And it's going to allow them to communicate better within the company and outside of the company. And I think that's something that I can't even put into words. She's offering this for these people who otherwise wouldn't have had these opportunities to learn and to venture out more and to have these opportunities in life. So I wanted to say kudos to Janice for that. I also want to say kudos to Tiana and Cynthia for being such wonderful and hospitable people. They are awesome. They took me out on the town. They took me to some amazing restaurants. I was never disappointed with the food that I had. They were the perfect hostesses. They are divas. They are both gorgeous, gorgeous women, and I love them. They are so fun and friendly and personable, and just love them. I just love them. So if you ever get a chance to go to Cambodia, please stop at Arjuni. This place is awesome. The staff is awesome. I love everything about this company now. I can't complain about anything. And I'm not affiliated with this company. I'm not a groupie, but being able to go and experience things firsthand can really change your perspective on things. I had a couple of reservations. A lot of people say, well, the hair must be processed. There aren't that many curly haired Cambodians, and guess what? There aren't that many, but there are a lot more than you think. Cambodia is a huge country, a huge population, but it's spread out. So what you see in photos, guess what? You're not going to see everything in photos, because most of these people don't have access to cameras. They don't have access to internet. When you go out to these villages, they don't have all of these things. So you're not going to see photos of them, but they're there. So take it from me, they're there. So that was my trip to Cambodia in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully one day you will all be able to take a trip to Cambodia and experience all of the wonderful things I got to experience.